why the people you give your all to never reciprocate. Just to make it plain and simple, you give your all to someone in the sense that you're in a relationship with someone and you're very loving and caring towards them. You are a person that is pour into this person as a loving partner would. You are there for them in many different ways, emotionally, physically, and mentally. You're there for them as though you were their friend, because in a sense you are. Just a very close friend, a best friend that, maybe even formed into a romantic relationship. Whenever you have a partner, that's basically what it is. It's like having a friend, but there's romantic things involved in it. Your romantic partner being somebody that you can count on, and you were that person for that individual. And however long it was within this situation, you may have noticed that despite your efforts, this person does not exactly reciprocate it. They might show affection as well. They might be loving towards you in some sense. They might even support you in some ways. But to the extent of how far you go, you just notice that it's not on the same level, to the point where you see that it's very off balance and that it's very off scale. And that's something that would cause anybody to wonder what's actually happening within the situation, to wonder why, and to wonder, is it you maybe? To wonder if there's something that you're not doing right, to wonder if you're not loving them the correct way, to wonder if you are not giving them enough, not pouring into them enough. And so you pour into them even more in whatever way that you can, whatever way that you think of where you can give yourself to them even more to make them feel the love that you feel for them. That's what you do, and they completely shut you down. In some situations, it can be a miscommunication thing. That does not mean that every situation, the dynamic is the way that it is because of a miscommunication. Sometimes it's just a matter of that not being the match for you, that not being the partner. A lot of times whenever there's relationship issues, depending on what it is, it's really a result of you needing to work on yourself more. There's just something that you're supposed to see, and that's not to say that you can't work on yourself while being in a relationship. It just really depends on what exactly you are needing to work on. Because that's really how you crack the code of this. If you're the type of person that have seen it in your family, where your family relationship dynamics don't work, where, your mom and dad is not together, or, your great aunt and the uncle's not together, or your grandparents, or if people are together, it's like, it's not a very healthy thing, it's a very toxic thing, and they kind of just seem like they're just staying together because they've been together for a very long time. And there's a lot of people that do that because they feel that if they poured into something for 7 years, then that means that they really love it, despite the entire dynamic being something extremely toxic and has not progressed in any way towards bettering the situation. Also, they have not grown as people while being together either. And that's another thing to point out. Even though you may be able to work on yourself while you are in a partnership, sometimes it is better to separate and to remove yourself and then to work on yourself and come back if that is what aligns with you and is something that actually makes sense for you. And not makes sense just because you have feelings for someone, you feel like you love this person. Makes sense in the sense that this is a healthy, very progressive, very moving forward type of relationship where you can actually grow with this individual and you actually make progress and you actually contribute towards each other's lives for the overall betterment of the health of yourself, your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health. I love making these videos because I love the fact that all it would take is one video for someone to explain something and it actually makes sense to that individual, and they start to notice certain things within their own lives. They start to pick up on different things from other people's relationships, just other human beings experiencing similar things, and compare and contrast as far as, okay, this is a representation of something successful as far as relationships or whatever it is. And then this is example of where, okay, this is still in the progress stage. This is still in the needing work stage, you know. Because don't ever think of it like, okay, you're born, you're here, you never got shown the correct way or the right way or the good way or the bad way, whatever. You were never shown the way to have a successful relationship or have a successful, healthy partnership. And so you feel like that's out of your realm of possibility. And it's like, no, it's in your realm of possibility. It starts with you thinking that it is. It starts with you watching a video like this that's here to explain what you should notice within your life and your own relationships in order to, you know, switch things up to make the situation better. Some of the stuff is very hard, you know, because we get attached to people. You know, people get attached to relationships. Like I said earlier, people feel that because they were together for a certain amount of time that means that they are supposed to be in that. And it makes sense why people feel that way, because that's usually what's presented to them from either movies, social media, or family members. And then if they don't have any other examples, or if they do have other examples from maybe a different family that they're seeing, but they just don't know the ins and outs of that, of how they got to that stage, or what's actually the foundation to create something like that. And so they just go back to what they know, they go back to what's subconsciously in their mind, and results in, you know, people doing the same things over and over again. It's not a coincidence why you will see people get into a relationship and it doesn't work out, and then they get into another relationship and that one doesn't work out either, and it's like back to back to back to back. This is not to say that situations that don't work out, that means you always have to do work on yourself. Sometimes certain things just do not work out because it serves a different purpose. Sometimes it's supposed to go in a romantic direction and be sustainable and stay that way, and then sometimes it's a thing of there was something you were supposed to learn from that. And if you're noticing the pattern of unsuccessful relationships or dysfunctional relationships, connections, a lot of times it's because there's something that you're supposed to explore more about yourself. And the more that you do it, you'll start to notice it. You're like, oh wow, that actually does make a lot more sense. Because whenever you're first getting into this, it doesn't make sense to hear that. You're like, okay, I'm treating somebody how I want to be treated, but it's not being reciprocated. And you're taught that from a young age, you know. And for some sense, in some sense it is correct, but at the end of the day, this is about energy, and everything starts from the foundation. The foundation is on the inside of your body, on the inside in the sense of how you think about yourself and how you feel about yourself, the kind of person that you are when no one else is around, you know, the kind of ways that you may treat other people, not even just how you treat a romantic partner. It might be like, okay, you have a certain type of belief about certain type of people. It's a lot of things that go into that. It's about how deep of a connection do you have with yourself? Like, how well do you know yourself as an individual? Are there still things that you are ashamed of about yourself? Are there still things that you would like to change about yourself? Is there a way of thinking that you feel like you can expand on and have a different perspective in life? I also just want to make it clear, sometimes a certain image will be portrayed to you so that you only believe a certain type of way, and so that you think a certain type of way and identify with that. And a successful way of getting someone to think like that, right? Once it's successful, that results in, you know, the way their reality looks, the way that their life looks, and them being stuck in that position and stagnant. I'm just here to say that there is a different way of being, and what you want to experience, you can, especially whenever it comes to romantic relationships. All you have to do is just heal yourself and just build a relationship with yourself. There are some things that will be hard and uncomfortable, but once you start to do it and you get more comfortable with it, you will see that it does become easier in some sense with building a relationship with yourself, because once you've passed certain points, it's like the strength of your relationship with yourself just continues to get stronger and stronger, and your bond will become more solid with yourself, and you'll find that it's more easy to connect with yourself, and you'll start to have realizations as well. But if you resonated with anything I spoke about in this video, consider liking, subscribing, and sharing so that this video reaches someone who may also need to hear this message. Thank you, and bye.